Hello, thank you for watching this video. So in this video I'll be doing question 1 of May-June 2021 question paper, mathematics paper 1. So the first question is more solving equations. So I'll start with that. Let's go. So question 1. So 1.1, solve for x, and then you are given a series of equations to solve under 1.1. So the first one is x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So they want you to solve this equation. So there are multiple ways in which you can approach this. So one, you can go about factorizing this. Second way, you can use the quadratic formula to solve this equation. But what we're going to do, we're going to factorize it. So it's some sort of practice. But on others, we might use quadratic equation so that you know how to use it. You can also use it here, but I would rather not. But apply factorization principles to factorize this or to solve this. So this is a quadratic equation. So you open your brackets. This one is equal to 0, right? And then you ask yourself, what are the factors of x? Factors of x is x and x. So the factors of x are x and x, right? And then the factors of 20, you have 4 and 5, right? And then now what you do, then you cross multiply these. So this times this times that. And the bigger cross multiplication will take the sign of the middle term there. So this time this is 5x, this time this is 4x. So the bigger cross multiplication is this one. So it will take the sign of a middle term, and this one will be positive. So this time this is minus 5x, this times that is 4x. And then when you add them, get negative x. So which is that there. So this times this is that. This times this is that, and then when you add the cross multiplication of these factors, you get x. So these are your factors. So what you put here, say x plus 4 and x minus 5, right? Then, what does this thing tell you? So you have two brackets multiplying each other. So if I tell you that x times y is equal to 0. What this tells you is that it's either your x is equal to 0 or your y is equal to 0. Because if you're multiplying two terms and the answer is 0, one of them should be 0 at least. It can be both, but at least one of them should be 0. This is the same case when you're dealing with such situations as well. You have two brackets, x plus 4 and x minus 5 brackets, multiplying each other. So if they multiply each other and the product is 0, that tells you that either this bracket, which is x plus 4, is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. This is what this means. So when you have two brackets multiplying each other and the answer is 0, one of them at least should be 0. But you're not sure which one it is. So you say this part is 0 or that part is equal to 0. That's how you are going to achieve the product of this bracket being 0. And then what do you do? So x is equal to minus 4, or your x is equal to 5, which means this is the solution to that equation. You can say x is an element of the set that contains minus 4 and 5. We're done with this one. Let's go to the next one. 1.1.2. So they want you to solve for this equation. 3x squared minus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. It's also a quadratic equation, this one. So they said solve for this equation, solve for x on this equation, and correct to 2 decimal places. So I'll take that correct to 2 decimal places as a hint that you will not be able to find nice solutions for this one. So you might just as well, just go for the quadratic equation. So, what is a quadratic equation? Your quadratic equation is saying that your x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is a quadratic equation. It says that the x which you are trying to solve is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Then what are these a and b's and c's? Then let's go to that. I'll clean that side. So what are these a, b, and c that they're talking about? So a, it is the coefficient of x squared. Here is x squared. Its coefficient is the number that's just in front of it. So this is your a, this one. Your a is equal to 3. What is your b? Your b is a coefficient of x. Here is x. Its coefficient is minus 2. This sign belongs to this term here. And this 3 is positive, so it's positive 3. And this side, coefficient of x is negative 2. Because this coefficient, 2 is a coefficient, negative 2 is a coefficient of x. So your b is minus 2. And your c is the constant there, the last term, which is minus 6. So it's important to be able to identify your a, b, and c. Once you have that, you substitute them there as they are. So what do you say? You say x is equal to, that's that negative, put your negatives there. B, what is your b? Your b is minus 2, put your minus 2 there, plus or minus the square root of what? Of b squared. What is b? Your b is minus 2, we have minus 2 squared, because your b is minus 2. Minus 4a, your a is 3, c is minus 6, all divided by 2a. What is your a? Your a is 45. Once you are here, you simplify it. Or you can just punch it directly from on your calculator. But I like to simplify it. So, say, okay, x is equal to, this times this is 2, plus or minus the square root of what? Punch this on your calculator. Let's punch it. I'm going to use mine. The part under the square root. So you have negative 2, the part under the square root or log. Negative 2. Actually, what you can do is, you can just punch the entire thing under the square root and include the square root as well. I'll clean this. So what I suggest you do, punch this thing here, all of it, the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So punch all of this and see how the answer will look like. Say square root of minus 2 all squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 6. So we have 2 root 19. So you have 2 square root of 19. If you punch this, point all of this on your calculator. All over 2a. 2a is that, which is 6. Right? So what you do now, you will punch this separately on your calculator. This separately. You say, okay, x is equal to negative 2 plus 2 root 19 over 6, or x is equal to 2 minus 2 root 19 over 6. And then you punch this separately. So if x is equal to, you can punch key that on your calculator as it is. So 2 plus the square root of plus 2 root 19 over 6. And the answer is 1.79. Or x is equal to 2 minus 2 root 19, which is minus 1.79. 1, 2. So these are your solutions for that equation. So your x is in this set 1.79 and minus 1.12. These are your solutions. So you're done with 1.1.2. I hope this is clear. I will clean the board and then we'll go to 1.1.3. Okay. So we continue. 1.1.3 and is x squared, x minus 1 all squared greater than 9. So they want us to solve for x here as well. So this is what those quadratic equations they call them quadratic inequalities. So what do you do when you have this situation? You first expand this. So what do you have? We have this x minus 1, x minus 1 greater than 9. Then expand this. So this times that is x squared. This times that is minus x. This times this is minus x. This times that plus 1, which is greater than 9. Right? So you simplify. X squared is on its own. There's no other x squared thingy looking like here. So you have x squared. Then these are of the same group. So you can add them. Minus x plus minus x. So it's going to be minus 2x plus 1 greater than 9. Then you transpose your 9 to the side. What do you have? You have x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 9 is greater than 0. We transpose the 9. And then these are of the same group, like terms. You put them together. You have x squared minus 2x minus 8 is greater than 0. So what do we do from here? So if you look at this, this is very similar to what 1.1.1 looked like and 1.1.2. So the previous two questions look like this, except that they had an equality sign there instead of this inequality sign. This is greater than 0. So on the previous two questions, we had equal to 0 there. So what do? You want to find your critical values, right? So when you say critical values, you allow this equation of yours to equal to 0, right? So we want to find our critical values. What do? You say, okay, I'll allow this equation to equal to 0. Once you are here, then now this equation looks exactly like the first two equations that we solved, 1.1.1 and 1.1.2. You say, okay, I can use the quadratic equation or factorize this. But we like factorizing. How do we factorize? We say the factors of x squared is x and x. The factors of 8 is 4 and 2, right? It's 4 and 2. The bigger cross multiplication here will take the sign of the middle term. The middle term is minus 2. So this time this is 4x, this time this is 2x. So this cross multiplication will take the sign of the middle term, and this one will be positive. So what do? This times this is minus 4x. This time that is plus 2x. And when you add them, you get minus 2x. So this is that. This time this is that. This time this is that. So these are your factors. So what do? Your factors are x minus 4 and x plus 2 equal to 0. Which is your x is equal to 4 or your x is equal to minus 2. Right? So these are your critical values. So what do you do when you're here? So when you're here is, what I always do is I plot these intercepts, these x-intercepts. So I always plot them. That's a rough sketch of how they look like. So I'll clean the board and try to draw a rough sketch of this, of those x-intercepts. So looking at this is a parabola or quadratic function. So I'll say, okay, this is my y, or x equal to 0, and this is my x-axis, or y is equal to 0. Then my intercept is 4 and minus 2. So I have 4 here, I have minus 2 here. So here are my intercepts. And then I know this equation here is positive, right? Because the coefficient of x squared is positive. So it's going to be something like this. Maybe. I don't even know. And I don't care about the actual shape, about where it tends and whatever. What I care about is showing the critical values that I found to be 4 and minus 2. So now this is the most important part, because now we are trying to solve this. So now you've plotted this. Here is it. Now to find the solutions, you find the solution, for solutions which satisfies this guy here. So you want where your graph is greater than 0, which is what are the x values where the graph is positive. Because I always look at this one, this part here, just before I convert it, I find my critical values. You are looking for the solutions where this equation, where this graph of mine, which is that, is positive. My graph is positive where? My graph is positive here, right? Then what are the corresponding x values? The corresponding x values supporting the positivity of this graph are these ones here. And where else this graph is positive? This graph is also positive here. What are the x values supporting the positivity of my graph? It's these x values this side. So what do? So your graph at x is equal to 2, minus 2 is 0. We know that at this point is 0, and at 4 is 0. But before minus 2, this graph was positive. So now, what this tells you is that this graph of yours will be positive for all x values that are less than minus 2. And it will be positive for all values after 4, which is all values that are greater than 4. This is your solution. Both of them. Because you want to find values such that your graph is positive, and it is positive for x is less than minus 2 and for x is greater than 4. This is one way of writing it. Or you can say your x should be in the set this 2 minus 2 union 4 to infinity. So both of them are equally correct. You can write them like this or like that. Then we'll be done. So let's go to the next question. 1.1.4. So this is another equation. I'm going to clean this part here and then do 1.1.4. 1.1.4. We are still solving the equations. What is this one? It's 2 root x plus 6 plus 2 is equal to x, right? So when you have these equations, what do? First thing you do transpose this guy here, the 2, to this side. So this side you're left with, on the left hand side you have left with x plus 6 is equal to x minus 2. And then try to remove this square root here. Then you square both sides of the equation. Then you're left with 4 times x plus 6 is equal to, expand this. This will be what? X squared minus 4x plus 4. What do we do? Let's simplify this. So we have 4x plus 24, right, is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. You transpose these to the right. So what do you have? You have 0 is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 4x. The other 4x is this one, which is this one here, plus 4 minus 24. What do we have? We have 0 is equal to x squared minus 8x, right, minus 20. This is what you have. And then what do we do from here? We simplify this. Oh, sorry, we factorize. So we say, okay, 0 is equal to, open a bracket, this one. What are the factors of x squared? It's x and x. What are the factors of So what are the factors of 20? It's 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, right? So this and this, this and this, this and that. So these are factors. So what we take, we have your 10 here, and you have your 2 here. You have your minus, you have your plus. These are factors. And then clean this part. So, which means if you have 2 brackets multiplying each other and the answer is 0, which means one of them is 0, either your x minus 10 is equal to 0 or your x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, your x is equal to 10 or x is equal to minus 2. So these are your solutions for that equation. So what we should do next is to test them if they're okay, which means substitute your 10 here and punch all the side and see if your answer will be 10. If you get 10, then this solution is correct. And then try the same thing with minus 2 as well. Put it here and see if you get minus 2 on the other side. Let's try that. But it doesn't look like this one will work anyway, because it's minus 2. There's no way you can have, I don't see anything that you can substitute here and get a negative and make this entire thing negative and make the entire left hand side negative to equal to the other one. So this one for sure is out because it's minus 2. So this will always be positive, this part, right? And that one will be negative because it's minus is equal to x. So this one will not work. Let's check the second one. So 2 times square root of what? Of 10 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2, which is also equal to 10. And then if you put your minus 2, your answer is 6, which is equal to negative 2. So this one is the correct solution for this equation. The other one, not so much. So we'll continue to 1.2, which is simultaneous equations. Solving for x and y simultaneously. I'll clean the board and then we'll continue. Okay, so we're going to 1.2 now, right? Solve simultaneously for x and y on this given equation. So they gave you for x plus y is equal to 2, and for x plus y squared is equal to 8. So they want you to solve for x and y. Solve for x and y simultaneously. So what I always do, I always look at the simpler equation, the one that I think I can play around with it. So I find this one to be simple here. You see, it does not have the squares like the second one, because there's not much difference except the square here. So I always target the simpler equation, which is this one, and try to actually, what you can do here, you can use elimination here. You can say, okay, let me clean this part. You can use elimination and say, okay, I have 4x minus y squared is equal to that. This minus this is that, right? So I can say, okay, 4x minus this, we have 0. Y squared, y minus y squared. So you have y, your y plus y minus y squared is equal to your 2 minus 8, right? What do you have? You have your negative y squared plus y is equal to minus 6. Then you transpose this to that side. You say 0 is equal to y squared minus y minus 6, right? Then you factorize this. 0 is equal to bracket. Then you have your y here and your y there. You have 3 and 2 there. You find them the same way we've been finding these, the others. Then you have minus 3 and plus 2. Therefore, your y is equal to 3, and actually, you say you have two brackets multiplying each other and get 0. In order for this to happen, y minus 3 is 0, or y plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, y is equal to 3, or y is equal to minus 2. So, you have your y values. What you are left with now is finding the x values. How are you going to find them? Let's take this equation here, any of these equations, they will do the work. So you substitute your y. So on the first one, say 4x plus y, your y is 3, is equal to 2. Therefore, 4x is equal to 2 minus 3, is equal to minus 1. Then divide by 4, divide by 4. Therefore, x is equal to minus 1 over 4. So, you have your coordinates as minus 1 over 4 and 3. So, you do the same thing for the second y value. So, okay, for x plus y, our y in this case we're using this one, plus minus 2 is equal to 2. And this goes that side. You have 4x is equal to 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4. Then divide by 4, divide by 4. Therefore, x is equal to 1. So the coordinates is 1 and minus 2. So we are done with 1.2. Now we go to the next one, which is 1.3. Okay. So now we're doing 1.3. It is given that this equation is equal to 24. Determine the value of x minus y. Find value of x minus y. So it is given that 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to 24 raised 6, right? So 1.3, it is given that 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to 24 raised 6. So it's 24 to the power 6. So they want us to find the value of x minus y. So what do we have? We are told that 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to 24 raised 6. What are the factors of 24? So we have 2 raised x times 3 raised y. The factors of 24 are 4 times 6. So here we have 4 times 6 raised 6, right? And then you can simplify these further. You can factor them further. So you have 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to 2 squared times 2 times 3, which is, this is the 6th part, to the power 6. So what do we have? We have 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to 2 raised 3 times 3, all to the power 6. Right. And then what do we do? Now we say 2 raised x times 3 raised y is equal to, this times that, 2 raised 18 times 3 raised 6. So now, if these two are equal, right, I'll say this one is equal to that one, and this one here is equal to that one there. So we say therefore 2 raised x is equal to 2 raised 18, which would imply that x is equal to 18, right? And then you say 3 raised y is equal to 3 raised 6, which would imply that your y is equal to 6. So if you want x minus y, that would mean you want 18 minus 6, which is equal to 12. And then this is how you do this one, I think. And we're done with question 1. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video